I'm here today with an exclusive author interview, Dr. Byron D. Herndon of heart condition. How are you doing today, Dr. Herndon?
Oh, I'm doing blessed. I'm doing so blessed. It's just feel weird being on the other side.
Oh, wow. So, the title of your book is Heart Condition, Volume 1. Can you tell us a little bit about that title today?
Well, I got the title from something that I was going through, born with. And I was born with a hole in my heart. And the doctors had called it as a tetralogy of thalamus. And if you're in the medical field or you're a doctor, you know what that is concerning with the heart. So as growing up, I went through so many things with that condition. And I had to tell it. I wanted to tell about some of the things and hoping that it would help somebody who's going through the same thing that I went through with my heart condition. With this being volume 1, of course, I still have a lot to tell. Basically, that's it. I just got it from with the hole I had, being born with the hole in my heart.
Okay, so your inspiration came to write the book. This came from your medical issues that you had.
Yes, I had that one medical condition led to another, and then I was inspired to write. Like you say, I was inspired to write it from that one thing.
Okay, so you were inspired to write it. So, what made you realize that you want to write the book and put it into play? And how long did it take you to write the book?
Well, those who know me know that I've always wanted to be a writer. And even my wife, she knows I always wanted to be a writer and stuff. So it took me through, I used the Barbara Cox Publishing Company. And every Tuesday morning for almost, was it a year? I think maybe 6 months to a year, we would talk on the phone. And I would tell her my testimony, which is basically what it's mainly about. It's mainly about my testimony of how God is healing me from that. And I just basically, it took a minute.
So your scheduling for writing the book, were you up all hours of the day and night, or was there certain time schedules that you guys had set to help get the book out there?
No, I wasn't up all day and night. Not on the book, of course, but on other projects, yes. We set a time schedule, a weekly time schedule, and it worked out great. I missed maybe 1 or 2 weeks out of that time schedule talking to her about the book. But other than that, it was a good time schedule, I thought.
So, being like time had passed over the years, and I know that it came from, your medical things, but over the years, sometimes we forget things. So, how did you remember the information to incorporate in your book?
Well, a lot of things were done by memory because it is a book of basically memory. So a lot of things I had to research and ask questions, and then through family members to make sure I was correct on certain things, being that young. And then also my editor, my publisher, she did a lot of research on it. And that brought back a lot of memory of things that happened. And like I say, we researched the hospitals, we researched some of the doctors.
Were some of the doctors still alive and were able to add to the book to give information on the book?
I believe that it was one, but it was mainly a doctor and his son that did the surgery at that time. And back then they didn't have the tools that we use now in nowadays time. And I'm like, I had to tell about it. I had to tell somebody, hey, look, compared to now, how it's that same surgery is a outpatient surgery. I guess they call it outpatient surgery, where you go in one day and come out the next, or come out the same day. Mm-hmm. Back then, it kept me bound and down for over a year. Mm. So I was even in rehab. I was in rehab for over a year. Mm. So it led me to miss the grade. But being born in December, that kind of led me to catch up. Mm. So I was blessed. I was blessed on that measure, which that will be in the next book also.
So after the completion of Heart Condition Volume 1, how did it make you feel? And also, what did your family think about Heart Condition Volume 1?
Well, I felt great. I felt, it's like a brick being taken off my shoulder. You have something to tell, something that you want to just tell, and you overflow with it until you tell it. So my family reacted. Most of the family that I grew up with reacted to it pretty well. I have a couple of family members that has bought it from me, and supporting it.
Okay.
So that that helped.
Okay. So what was the most surprising thing to you as you wrote this book that you discovered about yourself?
Wow. Well, I that's a good question. I discovered that that we are overcome by our testimonies.
That we overcome.
Although that's something I have known since I was a kid, but when you really go through it and you're telling the world about it, your testimony, it's a totally different feeling than just telling somebody inside of a church building or just telling your neighbor or one of the things I did find out that I always knew I was a writer, but God just brought it to life. He brought it to life in me being a writer.
That brings me to another question. When you said you always was a writer, how many books or volumes do you aspire to write on Heart Condition Volume 1 or other books do you aspire to write?
Well, I do have plans for 2 more Heart Conditions to come out. So Volume 3. I had plans for 5, but I'm not that old. So
so we can at least look for 3 volumes to Heart Condition.
Right, and also looking for a movie motion picture. Does anybody want to turn it into a motion picture? You're very welcome. Just hit me up.
All right. So I just want to insert a little excerpt from Heart Condition. And it says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. He made Sidney Herndon Sr., but he saw that he was alone and took him from one rib and made Essie Herndon. Sidney said, "This is now my bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh." And out of this union, 11 children were born. But one of their children developed a congenital disability that will be addressed in this book, Heart Condition. Heart Condition is a story about a youngster born with a tiny hole in the center of his heart, but he never felt like love was lost from within. This condition, one may say, caused him to live in fear as a young boy, but he grew closer to God through this tiny hole that was stubborn and refused to develop at birth. His parents and siblings showered him with love despite seemingly tiny hole. So, how does that make you feel hearing that?
Uh, well, it's me. So it makes me feel like that. Wow, I really did. I went through a whole lot when I was young,
Yes.
and a lot of times a person don't think about what they go through until God puts it back in their memory, and then He gives you inspiration to write it. So I mean, I just felt that through my testimony, I'm being healed.
So, you said different ones have purchased your book, bought the book, and read it. Have you heard from any of your readers, and what were their thoughts about Heart Condition Volume One?
Well, I've got the funny thing about it is the main people that's been buying my book is in the nursing field, are doctors and nurses and like I say, family members. I had a couple of family members that had loved it. They said they loved it, gave it a good review. I had a family friend that bought it, and he loved it and gave it a good review. He said he had to read it twice, and that's good to me.
Why
That's
did
good.
the person that purchased the book have to read it twice? What made you think he had to read it twice?
Well, because there were some things about my hometown that he didn't know.
Oh, I
And we
see.
all lived in the same hometown, growing up in the hometown and everything. It was something about the hometown that I didn't know.
Oh,
And on volume 2, you're going to hear even more. It's going to be centered a little bit more around my hometown and how I met my beautiful wife, and all that good stuff. So I want you guys to keep purchasing volume 1, pass it on. We also have it in Kindle.
so where can they purchase your book? You said in Kindle, and how can they get a hold of you and purchase your book?
Well, they can get a hold of me on Facebook by going to Byron Herndon on Facebook.com, and then also on Twitter as Dr. Byron D. Herndon. They can go to my website at Dr. Byron, DrByronDHerndon.com, and they will have links there to where they can also purchase it. You can, if you would like a signed copy, the signed copies are going for $25.99, and you are paying the postage and of course handling the postage. And I will also throw in something extra with the signed copy book mailed to you. If you just want the book without the signed copy, you can purchase it from Amazon. It's right now it's available on Amazon.com for $15.99. And those who like Kindle reading off your computer, it's available in Kindle for $9.99.
All right, so there's many ways that we can get a hold of your book, Heart Condition Volume 1. And Dr. Herndon, I just want to know if you have any inspirational words that you would like to share with the upcoming artist or someone that's been wanting to write a book but hasn't really got that foot in the door yet. What inspiration words would you have for them today?
You know what? If you can think it, you can do it.
Fill of dreams, huh?
If you can think it, you can do it, and that's so true because I never thought that I would become an author, and one day my mind said, you know what, I want to become an author, and it took me years, but I did it. So I just want to encourage you guys, especially young people, go for your dreams. Don't if you dream of being a President of the United States, go for it. If you dream of being a great athlete, go for it. If you believe that you can be one of the best preachers in the world, go for it and let God use you. Because just remember now, that can't come through unless you have God in your life. A lot of people have made it, but like the scripture says, what does it profit a man the whole world? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and to lose his soul? You know, and you don't want to lose your soul. You want to gain souls for Christ.
Amen.
And keeping your own soul saved, of course.
Amen. Well, we thank you for joining us today on an exclusive author interview, and God bless you.
Thank you very much for having me, and I want to thank all those listeners that are tuning in and listening to this. Don't forget to purchase the book through Amazon.com. Also, purchase it on my Cash App, through my Cash App at $Byron Herndon, or my other Cash App at, let's see, where did that paper go? My other Cash App at $Byron DH2. Is that it? Byron DH2. And hey, and $25.99 with the Cash App, $15.99 on Amazon, and $9.99 on Kindle.
Okay, thank you so much for giving us your time today, and see you later.
Thank you. You did an awesome job. Thank you.